Hi friends, I'm Makané and I'm here to do a daily tarot draw, and this is from the Guides deck by Sonia Choquette, and this is a deck for psychic intuitive guidance. And what we're asking about today is, what do we need for our collective spiritual alignment, unification, and higher conscious awareness? What do we need today to learn to raise our collective vibration, to elevate our collective consciousness, to reach the next state of our human evolution? What is necessary at this time to focus on? What do we need to receive today in a message from our guides? Get us through today. Okay, and the card we have here is shame. And this is probably the most difficult topic to speak about. I think a lot of people don't like to talk about it. Even the word stirs up sort of like yuck response for most people. So I'm not here to stroke anyone's ego or make anyone feel amazing about themselves. I'm just here to deliver the message of the universe, so bear with me in that if you're open to this this guidance. Okay, so the card is shame. Divine healers. Divine healers are beings that are, you could say, relating to a sense of almost religiousness, a sense of higher self or higher beings. And the word divine I like to think of as just like what comes through in times of great need. And healing is definitely, I think, on a lot of our minds right now. So we need all the divine healing we can get, especially in the area of shame. The message of this card: judgment, severity, self-loathing, poverty. That's real. I definitely know these messages, and I have experienced the shaming of every single one. I hope you are able to ground yourself. If this brings up something that is unpleasant, take care of yourself, please. So, you're at risk of falling under a spell of self-criticism because of poor choices or learned behavior. And this is bringing on the energy of shame. You can always tell when a soul-deadening vibration is present because it causes you to unconsciously pull back from others and the loving support of the universe. And yeah, I can relate to this. So this is how we become isolated. It's quite possible at this time to believe that the world is against you, making you want to hide, withdraw, or push it away. And nothing could be further from the truth. You are your own worst enemy at this time, as the universe never stops loving or supporting you. Nor have the people around you stopped loving you, even if we've made terrible mistakes. After all, we're all guilty of this at times. So something's weighing heavy on you. Maybe it's behavior, maybe it was a reaction, maybe it was just a feeling that you're having, that you're feeling a sense of unworthiness, that you don't have enough to offer. And the sense of depletion is very present in times when there is not much going on. We don't have a lot to stimulate ourselves, and then we find less and less to talk about. We find less and less to share, less and less reason to open up, and we can start to turn that into a story about ourselves, when in fact this is just what's going on, like in the world, like for everyone. However, this also is a time that's bringing up a lot of pain, and for myself, like, it's been a time of incredible emotional, spiritual release, and I have to say that looks very ugly and messy sometimes. And I had an experience last night that I won't go into too much detail, but essentially, like, it was akin to an extreme cathartic physical and spiritual release. And I say spiritual because, like, I was working with plant medicine, and it was guiding me in, like, where to focus in on my body, like areas that were hard for me to spend time in. I was, like, sending a lot of energy into those spaces and feeling all the built up residue of rage, of shame, of embarrassment at times, mostly just a lot of loss, grief, and sadness, and like heart-wrenching, like, agony. And, like, it was, like, locked up in my jaw to the point that when I started to allow my jaw to, like, open and yin release, like, my teeth just literally started, like, chattering, and, like, it sounded like a wild animal. And I, like, was crying to just, like, the divine, to, like, the universe, to just, like, take this pain, like, transform it, and, like, help me move and be free from it. And I felt so much support coming through. So I just wanted to share that, because I know that we're very alone right now, but we can still ask for support, and we can still reach for something bigger than us to contain it. How, like, my sister was saying, like, there's a lot that we feel, and it's hard to know how to contain it. And I just think that at times we just have to ask the universe to be our container. Like, it can be that big that we need the whole sky. And, like, there are times where we can reflect on our own actions, and feel remorse for our own inabilities to cope in the past. And that's something that also takes a huge container for. So I encourage you to find an expression of this. It could be in the form of a deity, a goddess, a saint. It could be in the form of even, like, a beautiful nature spirit. And like, I've been working with the Virgin of Guadalupe recently, and her just, like, her sense of, like, grace and compassion and, like, bigness, and just, like, showing up just kind of out of nowhere to just, like, provide this, like, sense of, like, love and, like, unconditional support from beyond. So I'll just finish reading the rest of this card, and I'll let you sit with that. I hope that what I have to say is of benefit. Your divine healers surround you, holding you in affection and unconditional love as you struggle to regain your self-esteem. They ask you to remember that being here on Earth is like being in a classroom. You're here to progress, and you'll make many mistakes along the way. And that's part of your learning process, and it's necessary for your growth. So making mistakes is just part of the game. Your divine healers ask you to open your heart and forgive your mistakes. So just like yesterday's reading was about forgiveness, this one is like, we're getting deeper into that. That's kind of interesting synchronicity. And no mistake is too great, nor any error so grave that it can't be forgiven. So think about that. How does that land for you? Are there mistakes you feel like you've made that you can't forgive yourself for? If so, why? And can you remember that you are a sacred being having a human experience on this earth, and that when it's over, you'll continue to have a sacred experience? So does this vessel and its flaws and its mistakes limit who you are? I just want you to think about inquiring into that. So the final message of this is to pray for your divine guides to help you rise above your self-criticism and enter the flow of the universe. So it's time to get back into who you are, like before you learned whatever garbage messaging led you to making these mistakes, because it wasn't your core like pillar of self. Like this was like likely due to toxic conditioning, and also due to just like not knowing everything there is to know, like ignorance. So I ask you to like be open to like accepting yourself through that process, because that's actually going to propel you in your wisdom to learn to do better. It's going to propel you forward in your flow, so you're going to actually be able to show up in the way that is healing and is beneficial a lot faster when you can like start to like accept it and move on.